of the biggest contributors to human longevity and happiness is actually not just physical health, to eat right and exercise, but is relational health. Healthy, positive relationships pay dividends to your physical health, mental health, and longevity at a level that most people, even today, do not fully comprehend. You ever heard of Maslow? Maslow's hierarchy of needs? There's this famous pyramid, you'll see it all over the place, that he said there's a little hierarchy. You need these basic things at the bottom, and then you work your way to the top. Food, clothing, shelter, right? Security, and then relationships, and then all these other kind of individualistic looking things. Maslow is a pretty interesting dude who wasn't really a psychologist who dabbled in anthropology. And what is usually missing from anybody talking about Maslow stuff is that he started his study in Montana with the Blackfeet tribe. And that is not what they showed him. They showed him something very different. What they actually showed him was that this self-actualization, individualism stuff is really at the bottom. People who are getting stuff together. And that the focus is on belonging in and responsibility to a community. And that the community focuses not just on this community thriving at the expense of others, extractive or transactional things, but thinking in terms of 7 generations down the road, cultural perpetuity. We have this concept in Ojibwe as well. We have a word, Anakobijigan. And we use that word for my great-grandparent, and we use that same word for my great-grandchild. In Danakobijigan, the word literally means my line, and it spans 7 generations. From great-grandparent, great-grandkid to, down the line to oneself. It goes in both directions. So the way we think of this, or the way we customarily had been enculturated to think of this, was to think that we are the beneficiaries of, the recipients of, what people were doing 7 generations ago. And we should make our decisions thinking in terms of 7 generations from now. In other words, 7 generations ago, our people were going through a really hard time. People coming after them in terms of genocide and residential boarding schools and taking all their babies away, not to be seen until they were adults, and sometimes not ever seeing them again. All kinds of really tough stuff. And they were thinking, what are they going to need 7 generations from now? And they thought we were going to need land, clean water, our language, our culture, and each other. And in spite of all the tough years, we still have those things. So when I think 7 generations from now, when nobody knows my name, doesn't matter how many books I write, truly, what are they going to need? And I think they're going to need the same things. And so with my life and with my efforts and with everyone else's, if we think of that, if our language, our culture, our clean water, our land, if those things are in our people's hands, they will be well positioned for a long, healthy, happy life. And all our strivings today in this tough environment will have been worth it. In Dana Kobijigan. To hold those up next to each other, you can see how distorted here, from individuals to being part of a broader collective entity, to thinking in terms of like 7 generations. And here, everything feeding the individual. My physiological needs, my security needs, my relationship needs, my self-esteem and my self-actualization. Like, look what I just did. All about me, 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 my. And it actually hurts people. You even go back to like caveman days. We survived saber-toothed tigers and cave bears. And it wasn't because we outcompeted the person in the next cave and acquired more resources than them. It was because the person in the next cave loved us. And they would intervene if we needed something or if we were in danger. So we are hardwired to need connection, belonging, and love. But the message, the formal message is, pursue yourself. What have you done for me lately? What's in it for me? How much am I getting paid in this transaction? What can you give me? As opposed to, what can I give to others so that 7 generations from now, they're equipped for a long, healthy, happy life? It's one of the secrets from all of these things is that the receiving is in the giving. For anyone who's lucky enough to be a parent, you know what this is like. Man, you've had people in your life that you cared about, that you would sacrifice for, that you wanted the best for, and then this little person is born, and all of a sudden, like you could jump in front of a train or whatever it took. It's so powerful. We're hardwired to think of and look out for others. But the metaculture has us stepping away from, leaning away from, and distancing ourselves from that. So much so that people say, like, I'm still trying to figure out who I am and what I'm going to do. But the meaning is not in what you do for you, but in what we can do for others.